All right, episode 365, Days of Horsemanship. So I think I spoke before last time about the second 2 days of Elsa's. So I came back and had a really interesting couple of days. Mia's herd have just been put onto quite a big field with definitely more grass than she's had in a really long time. So it was a really interesting challenge because I sort of thought to myself, okay, it might be good to work on some haltering. That was really interesting because I could have sort of put the halter around her neck, caught her and brought her in. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to kind of work on my timing to help with a better feeling about changing focus associated with the halter. So we started working on that and I learned a lot of lessons. I'm not going to say I made a lot of mistakes because I'm pretty sure that I did notice each one, which was really good. So basically it would go a little bit like this. I would come up, I would walk around, I would do some supportive in between and answer some easy questions. So ask some easy questions. So, just accept those small focus changes within categories. Just, like little eye flick here, little ear flick there, just like little moments of curiosity, little moments of feeling good. And then I would start walking and I would come in and start putting a little bit of pressure, rhythmic pressure, just on her flank area. And she would at some point pick her head up from the ground, turn to look at me, and then put her head straight back down the grass. And we did a lot of repetitions of this, where originally I was really accepting of that being like that. And as soon as she would give me that, I'm like, yeah, perfect, let's eat some grass. After some time, I wanted to expect more. And that's where a few times she would look up, she would even turn her feet, and that was kind of getting okay. And then I would want a little bit more after that, and then she would leave. So we would then go into fight, flight. And that was interesting, I think, just coming to understand, reading the feel and what is possible for her on that day. Because it wasn't the end of the world if I didn't bring her into the arena. And actually, I think it's about, we had consistently this look up. I think the piece that I missed was taking the time with that second step to get consistently every time that pressure comes on, we get the look and the legs. So that was kind of really the thing. I think that was the point where I did quite well in terms of the first step of getting the focus change. But then I kind of wanted to go from step 1 to step 5 without rewarding steps 2 through 4. But we kept practicing, and I had this feeling, I think my gut feeling was, I think I just need to be a little bit more patient with this. I didn't really want to be more patient with it. I really felt like I also wanted to show her, I wanted to prove to her that all I wanted to do was put the halter on and then we could have some food and chill out. So I, in the end, did end up using a bit more pressure to get the halter on. And I feel okay about it. I didn't feel okay about it originally afterwards. I got the halter on. I felt like the timing was okay throughout that, of me pausing in the right moments and being busy in the right moments. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm so tired today. It's really close today as well. That always makes me feel really yawny. And I think I just felt really sort of, unsure. I put the halter on, we did some grazing, I took the halter off again, I did a little bit more like support, and then I left. And I was feeling a little bit unconfident about it at first. I was thinking, maybe I shouldn't have put that extra pressure on to put the halter on. But I just said to myself, well, if tomorrow it's worse, I have my answer. And actually the next day I came back and it was better. And I would put that pressure on and I would get a longer period of time of her looking up and looking around. There were a couple of times where I even got 2 or 3 different focus categories before she put her head back down. So that was really nice. And I think that day, actually, I was able to get her up. I was able to halter her, which was really nice. And I got her in the arena. And because she's on all this grass, I really have this priority that I want to try to exercise her as much as possible, because I feel like it is just going to keep her as physically healthy as possible. So I decided what we were going to work on. 2 things. So the first thing I've been working on a lot with her is something Elsa was talking about, and Andrea actually, from their trip to Costa Rica, and dealing with horses that are very food obsessed when you're leading them, and food obsessed generally. And the idea is that I'm playing with Mia now is that once I've got the halter on, we have a good focus change, and then I immediately, let's go and do some grass. Almost like race her to the grass. Then as I'm walking up, it's like a point to point type pattern where I'm walking off with her. I use whatever pressure I need to bring her with me. As soon as I see an eye flick or an ear flick, or she's feeling good about walking, I stop and I'm like, oh my God, look, there's good grass here. And we go and we go and we go and we go and we do that pattern. And I do feel like it's softened our leading. I do feel like this idea that she feels like I'm not always trying to pull her away from the grass all the time. I think it's really important with this pattern so that it works out I think if they're pulling you back down to the grass, you're too late. So if that's happening, I'm just trying to remember that, okay, maybe I waited too long. Maybe we weren't going to get an ear flick or an eye flick. And I just need to be like, look, there's grass. Look, there's grass. Look, there's grass, much faster, until she gets to the point where she doesn't feel like I'm constantly trying to pull her away. Because that moment where she's pulling me down, that's the opposite of what I'm trying to create. Because I don't want this desperate feeling like there's never enough grass. I want her to feel like that I'm always offering. So that went quite nicely. I popped her into the arena and basically worked on finding relaxation in walk and trot. So we just did a lot of walking to a better feeling, stop, think about that better feeling, go again, and then trot into a better feeling, draw in, think about it, until that's really, so we did that for probably 20-30 minutes, and that was really good. That was really nice. I was really happy with that. I was really happy with that session generally. So it was a really nice couple of days, and I really felt like I had so much more confidence. Like before, when I brought horses into the arena to exercise them, I always felt like, oh my God, isn't it just so boring, like exercising them, like they just run around in circles for hours, like I'm bored, they're bored. Whereas yesterday I really felt like motivated to do it because I had a clear purpose to what I was doing that felt really horse-centered. And I think that's one of the key things that I've always struggled with before, like throughout my life with horses, has really been feeling like so much of it is work for both me and the horse, and not really feeling like anything that we're doing is horse-centered. And that's where I've really struggled to put the hours into structuring training, because I've always felt like the training's been for the human rather than for the horse. Is this really what the horse needs to feel comfortable in their environment, or is this just something that I want to do because it looks cool? Has always been the way that I've thought about it. And now I feel like I actually have the tools and the understanding in my mental toolbox to be able to say, okay, actually it can't be very comfortable for you to come in here and trot around and feel bad about that. Let's work on that for you. Because ultimately, like, the life that Mia's living is a life in which for the rest of her life, people are going to bring her into arenas and trot her around. So it's important that she feels better about that. And that's really what my training mindset is about at the moment. And that's really exciting because that feels very sustainable. I feel like there's a lot of scope with that. I feel like, yeah, there's just kind of like endless possibilities, really. So yeah, it was a really good couple of days, actually. And I do feel that since then, things are continuing to improve. So yeah, really, really interesting. Such a, like, I mean, I can't even tell you, like, such a shift in my understanding, my confidence, my training ability. Like, so huge. Like, I finally feel like I have a list of things that not only do I want to train, but I actually know how to train. Like, I feel like the how is just really key for me. At the moment, I feel like that's where I've really gained knowledge and understanding. So yeah, very, very cool.